Magic Masses! I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. All Nightmare Long was a great event Pro Wrestling Magic put on. Due to circumstances beyond my control, namely subway trains, not to mention NJ Transit bus showing up 15 minutes late, those lazy fucks. And as a result, I didn't catch the bus I wanted to catch, and I didn't arrive at the building until the first match was coming to the ring for the Monday Morning Magic taping. In that matchup, we saw Arya Rose do battle with Lucky Leone, who debuted last month at Sanitarium. Lucky Leone defeated Arya Rose at 5 minutes 11 seconds. And in a return bout from last month's Sanitarium, we saw the last real Bronx Italian, Franco Costanzo, take on the son of wrestling, Vincent Michaels. And these two were going at it hot and heavy, but then all of a sudden, the Masked Man, who also assisted Vincent Michaels last month at Sanitarium, came out, and referee Nick Shin called for the gong. Franco Costanzo defeated Vincent Michaels at 7 minutes 36 seconds, but then Costanzo goes out to ring announcer Shane Fair, and he says, I want a rematch right now. And they have a rematch, and Vincent Michaels beats Franco Costanzo in an immediate rematch at 12 seconds. Okay. From there we have, well, actually, it was like 20 minutes before the main show started, after the matches that were taped for Monday Morning Magic. Yeah, the thing is, the bus, I was trying to catch the bus at 4 p.m. I was leaving Port Authority at 4 p.m., but I didn't make it. I was going to eat at a pizza place near Rutherford train station before the show, but it was already between, I think it was already after 5 o'clock, or just after 5 when the bus got me to Rutherford train station. And the bus that came after that was scheduled to come at 4:30 at Port Authority was stopped right behind the bus I got off of. And on top of that, I don't know if anybody needs hearing aids, but it got to a point where the bus was so crowded, people had to stand, and nobody wanted to get out to let people out of the bus. So that was a fucked up situation. If only my late father was alive to see this. Knowing him, he would say, these bus drivers, they take their sweet time, they don't want to work. And in some cases, they didn't even want to fucking come to work. It seems. But I digress. We get on with the main show, as we see, representing El Pacto Diabolico, Al Dinero making his return as he challenged the Plexus's Troy Locke for the Dark Arts Championship. Initially, the Zombie King Junior Flow was supposed to challenge Troy Locke for this event, but I guess Junior Flow was unable to attend. Troy was accompanied to the ring by his Misery Inc. tag team partner V. Daniel, but he didn't stay at ringside for the match. Good opening matchup, which saw the Plexus's Troy Locke defeat Al Dinero at 9 minutes 56 seconds to retain the Dark Arts Championship. Next matchup, we saw, I don't know if this was her debut, Gia Scott, as she took on the Cotton Candy Princess, Tiffany Avatar. Cotton Candy Princess Tiffany Avatar defeated Gia Scott at 5 minutes 35 seconds to snap the losing streak that Avatar was on. Up next, it was time for the open challenge issued by El Pacto Diabolico leader Mateo Marcelos, and it was answered by Jack Martins, I apologize if I got his name wrong, who Shea said was making his return, and Michael Fain. And then Steve Off came out from behind the curtain, and he says on the microphone that both Michael and Jack their emails came in at the same time to accept the open challenge. So Steve Off said, let's have a triple threat match. And the match was on, and Of course, Mateo was bringing plunder, if you will, where there was like a cookie sheet, trash can, a big long chain, a staple gun which did not get used. Good matchup here. Mateo Marcellus defeated both Michael Fane and Jack Martin, or Martins, in this open challenge matchup. Next, we had, well, actually, at that point, Front Row Mikey of the commentation station, as Shane Fair calls it, he comes to the ring and he says to Shane Fair, you know, you made me the general manager of Monday Morning Magic. And I forgot what else he had said, because Mikey had the Chaos Championship belt, which is an old Pro Wrestling Magic Championship belt that he had. And what happened was, out came Steve Off, Hands Off, I believe that's Steve's father, Heel Son Luke, and El Rotundo Genioso. I thought it was El Rotundo Geronimo for some reason. No, I will not do the Rotundo Shake. And I think I'm sorry, it was Steve Off, Hands Off, and Heel Son Luke. And it looked like Luke wanted to face Front Row Mikey for the Chaos Championship right there again, but then out from behind comes El Rotundo Genioso with a kendo stick, hits Mikey from behind with it, both, and referee Taylor Daniels was in the ring, come to the ring with Steve, Hands, and Luke, and I never heard a gong, but Heel Son Luke and El Rotundo Genioso both got on top of Front Row Mikey and pinned him to win the Chaos Championship at 3 seconds. Again, the gong did not, I never heard a gong to start the match. I mean, they're treated like the old WWF Hardcore Championship where it's on the line 24/7. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Mikey said he fired El Rotundo Genioso before this match happened to from the commentation station. And by the way, commentating the show most of the show with Front Row Mikey was John Harder and Cheyenne Ortiz. Next up was the Battle of the Returns. Two men who hadn't been seen Pro Wrestling Magic for like a few months. Actually, this man, the All-Father, Darius Carter, who hadn't been seen since Whiskey in the Jar back in March, as he took on Isaiah Wolf. Now, they said Darius Carter was returning from a suspension. Now, granted, I wasn't at Whiskey in the Jar, but I don't know why he was suspended. It could have just, because I know I guess it was a way to put somebody out of the picture if they're not going to be around for a while. But you get the point. Well, good match these two had. I mean, Darius has all the buzz for like the past decade now, winning championships, winning so many matches. I mean, that man needs to get, I don't know how many more indie companies he's going to set foot in before he gets signed up. Carter, that is, folks. They had a great matchup. At one point, Carter, I think, brought a chair and he was going to use it, but referee DM Stevens prevented that from happening. Then Carter was going to use the keys to the key is a key to the kingdom. Well, it's called keys to the kingdom, but DM Stevens called him again. Then Carter tried to give Wolf the royal sweep, but Wolf countered it. Isaiah Wolf pinned Darius Carter at 12 minutes 53 seconds. And then Kat Storm comes into the ring and she interviews Carter, and Carter talked about, you think I'm worried about a loss? He's holding the key that I got this, I can exercise my right for the championship at any time, and I forgot what else he said, and he eventually leaves the ring. Up next, we had a women's championship match as Big Daddy Adriana challenged the Temptress, I don't know her nickname, Tiffany Grady, who makes her return. Tiffany Grady eventually defeats Big Daddy Adriana at 5 minutes 4 seconds to retain the women's championship. After the match, the two ladies shook hands in a sign of respect. And then I think Grady got the microphone, and I forgot what she said. And eventually Tiffany Avatar comes to the ring, and Avatar, the two Tiffany's are butting heads, Avatar and Grady. And then Lucky Leone comes out. She's doing that with Adriana, but then Adriana and Grady got the upper hand, and they left the ring together. So Big Daddy Adriana, a new member of Pacto Diabolico, and also makes me wonder, could it be possibly a woman's? By the way, Adriana and Tiffany Grady left the ring together. They're now calling themselves Thick and Tempted, or Thick and Tempting. Funny thing is, so I don't know, maybe this could be the beginning of a women's tag team division in Pro Wrestling Magic. But speaking of tag teams, up next, it was time for the tag team championship match. El Pacto Diabolico members Justin Vane and Ray Mars, accompanied by Mateo Marcelos and Al De Niro, as they defended their belts against Star Killer Steve Off and the American Nightmare Dan Murdoch, the Sons of Old School, accompanied the ring by El Rotundo, Genioso, Heel Son Luke, and Hands Off. Just prior to the matchup, Steve addressed something to Shane Fair. And he's saying, I know Al De Niro and Mateo Marcelos, they both have wrestling licenses, but they don't have manager's licenses. So they can't have it both ways. And Shane Fair said, as 50% general manager, since La Bruja is not here, Shane Fair announced that both Mateo and Al De Niro were both banned from ringside during that matchup. The match was on. The Sons of Old School defeat Justin Vane and Ray Mars at 12 minutes, 15 seconds to become the new Pro Wrestling Magic Tag Team Champions. After the match, Cat Storm comes in the ring to interview both of them, and they pretty much issued a challenge to give the now former champions a rematch for the Tag Team Championship. But Steve Ock was saying, we got to add some violence to it. They were thinking about a tables, ladders, and chairs match, but I think Steve or Dan said tables are a bit expensive. How about a doors, ladders, and chairs match? And the match was made pretty much official. Sons of Old School will defend their newly won Tag Team Championship in a return bout against Justin Vane and Ray Mars of El Pacto Diabolico in a doors, ladders, and chairs match. I don't know if they're going to hang the ladder, if they're going to climb the ladder, grab the belts to win, hang the belts above the ring to, one team's got to climb the ladder and get them, or it's going to be decided by a pinfall or submission. On top of that, Pro Wrestling Magic, we need some tag teams. I really think we need some tag teams, We haven't had a lot of them around. We haven't had the Rep around in some time. We haven't had so many. Okay, that was that. Okay, up next was a triple threat match. As we see, no longer the Hunter, Danny Danger, versus who made his return. Also versus making his return, Abed Aronis. Say that one. Say his name 3 times fast. Versus V. Daniel for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Daniel was accompanied ring by Troy Locke, but much like when Daniel accompanied Locke for his match, Locke didn't stay at ringside for this. V. Daniel ended up defeating Danny Danger and Abed Aronis at 11 minutes 30 seconds to retain the Junior Heavyweight Championship. And after the match, Ray Mars of El Pacto Diabolico comes out. He's whispering in Danny Danger's ear, and they leave together. And Mars is does this towards one of the video cameras. And then it was time for the main event, as El Pacto Diabolico member Eden challenged the good guy Azrael for the heavyweight championship. Great match these two had. Along the way, during the matchup, Mateo Marcelos, Justin Vane, and Ray Mars come out. And I believe Al De Niro came out too. I don't know. Did Mateo come out in the main event? I don't know. I can't remember right now. But it got to a point where Ray Mars got a hold of the heavyweight championship belt. He gave it to Eden. He said, "Here, use this." And Vane's telling Mars no, and then Eden says no, throws the belt down, and Vane says to Mars, "I told you." I think they all eventually left the. Did they leave? I don't know if they all left the ringside area. Azrael ended up defeating Eden to retain the heavyweight championship at 11 minutes 4 seconds after the match. Azrael and Eden shook hands, and Mars and Vane looked like they were going to attack Azrael, but out came the new tag team champions, the Sons of Old School, to stop him. Darius Carter's music hits. He comes out with the key, but Carter teased cashing it in, but there was no referee out there either, so it was obvious to me he wasn't going to do it. I think he teased going in like twice, and Carter says, "I'll do this," he said, "my time." He said, "I'll do this on my time," before Carter eventually leaves the ringside area. Well, great. It was a great show. President notes it was good seeing Robert Lopez. For those who don't know, he's one of the El Pacto Diabolico fans. The reason I know his actual name is because before he arrived for Sanitarium last month, I saw his name on the chairs last month before he arrived. And I don't know if he's on Facebook, folks. Okay. I saw Danielle and her husband Dave, who were right next to the El Pacto Diabolicoites, shall we say. Who else did I notice in that crowd? Well, a lot of people were not there. The Cuban hype men, Fernando and Bruno, were not there. Elliot was not there. Pete Ryman was not there. Well, I don't know if his son, if the Revolver Alex Rhyme will ever come back to Pro Wrestling Magic. Let me see who else we got. Other people. People I could think that were in, I noticed in the crowd or not. Caitlin and her sons were not there. I wish someday, but I know it's very doubtful, highly unlikely, as the late Gorilla Monsoon would say, if Gail, Callie, and Rebecca ever came back to Pro Wrestling Magic, since they have since moved to Florida. Alright, I guess it's, another thing I gotta say, even though it has nothing to do with the show, when I was on the train heading to Manhattan to go to the Port Authority, a lot of these young women, I'm not judging them, folks. A lot of these young women, they might want to consider wearing longer shirts. I know it's summertime and a lot of young women like to show flesh, but again, I'm not judging them, but I'm sure they don't want too many. I mean, I will admit, as a member of the male species, there are too many guys who make all men look bad, and there are guys who are real creeps out there. You just don't know. Okay? But I don't know if the ladies would just I don't know, wear longer shirts. First, they wouldn't have to worry about any flesh showing, shall we say. Alright, Pro Wrestling Magic pretty much kicks off the road to Kingdom Come 11 as they present Enter Sandman on Saturday, September 19th from the Meadowlands YMCA in Rutherford, New Jersey. As already announced, the newly crowned tag team champions, the Sons of Old School, Steve Off and Dan Murdoch, defend the tag belts against the former champions, El Pacto Diabolico members Justin Vane and Ray Mars, in a doors, ladders, and chairs match. Okay, Shane Fair announced the following individuals that's happening that night. Making their returns, Dr. Sleep, Anthony Gangone, Vinny Pacifico, Women's Dark Arts Champion, Journey Burke Esquire, and I think he announced there's going to be a fast pass where the winner of that match will get their challenge the heavyweight champion at Kingdom Come. I would like to see Tiffany Grady and Big Daddy Adriana against Tiffany Avatar and Lucky Leone. Franco Costanzo and a partner against Vincent Michaels and that masked man, whoever that is. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. It's with this show. Could it be that we've seen the first cracks in El Pacto Diabolico? Considering that Justin Vane and Ray Mars lost the tag team championship, Al De Niro failed to win the Dark Arts title, Eden failed to win the heavyweight belt. So yeah, actually I forgot to mention it was after Azrael beat Eden, Ray Mars and Danny Danger, who looks like he's joined El Pacto Diabolico, so he's gone from a leader to a follower now. So and I guess I haven't really been watching Monday Morning Magic to see where the, I guess, co-chaos champions, Heel Son Luke and El Rotundo Genioso. Once again, I will not do the Rotundo shake. See where that they had Front Row Mikey, who was the GM of Monday Morning Magic. See where all that goes. Is there going to be a third Mateo Marcellus Open Challenge? A third one in a row. We've had 2 in a row now. I don't know if he'll do another one. Oh, well, Fernando, even though you were not there, I did bring my dry erase board, which you refer to as the magic board, but I didn't get around to using it. I even had new markers which are still packaged, you know, and even have an eraser with it as well. But I don't know, maybe because you and Bruno didn't come, and I didn't. And third Pro Wrestling Magic event in a row I attended where I did not use the megaphone. I don't know if the crowd was a little bigger or not, because once again there was nobody, much like Sanitarium last month. There were no chairs set up in the same side of the room where the commentation station was at. There were points in the show where it got so quiet I could hear both Cheyenne Ortiz and John Hart. I couldn't hear Front Row Mikey too much though. La, 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 la. But you know, it was a great time, and hopefully Enter Sandman. I'm sure with a hectic match they have already with a D, not T, D, doors, ladders, and chairs. Oh my, doors, ladders, and chairs match. I don't know. Is that going to go on last that night, or is it going to go in the middle of the show? I wonder. Oh, another thing. I hope, I don't know, Steve? I don't know if, I know I did make a suggestion about show title themes. I don't know if that's going to be the 2027 theme, but hopefully, you know what, maybe, I know I gave you one suggestion, but if you ever do songs, why not, do Metallica this year? I don't know, maybe a band from maybe 1970s bands, or band songs or something, or 1980s songs. I don't know. Yeah, so if you missed Ella Nightmare Long, come to Enter Sandman September 19th. Not sure if I'm going yet, but had a great time, and you know, I always can't wait to come back to Pro Wrestling Magic. You can do magic. You can have anything that you desire. I miss the Mecca, folks. Alright. Hope everyone enjoyed this.